Hello everybody, my name is Iowl and welcome to Rome Total War, my Julii campaign. So last time, I think I took Massilia and I recently tried to get some reinforcements down there and the footage actually cut off there, so I'll basically explain what happened here. I basically was able to send those reinforcements. I landed in Iberia, but I was able to walk there in about a turn. I had enough movement points, and at that point, I was just building up the army, making a big one, a huge army, so I could just march through Gaul. What's it called? Very unopposed? Yeah, I think that's the right word for it. Anyways, I actually get ambushed right here by a huge Gallic force. About like, how do I put it? 1,000 men force. So I go with my iconic strategy of cavalry beats all, my infantry will take the brunt. I actually send my general as a more or less morale support because I know they'll outmatch my infantry in number. So instead of, just trying to hold out until my cavalry gets there, I'll try to encourage the morale. I think either I or someone else has reinforcements. I think they actually have reinforcements there, so maybe if I cut them off early, that'll be nice. Besides that, I also noticed that half the infantry goes for my cavalry that I think is like, oh, okay, you kind of screwed yourself there because now my infantry is like 10 times better than the normal warband, so I'm able to easily outnumber them and outmatch them. Well, yeah, outmatch them mainly because I have Pila, Hastades have good morale, good defense. I end up moving my general off though to hit them to the side and to mainly help in that sort of flanking support there, while my cavalry is kind of just trying to avoid them. I route the first unit on the right side there, and so I direct the majority of my units down to the left side because they're really focusing mainly on that side so they could route the units there. So I send about 2 men there. Their general tries to counter mine, but at that point I know I cut that pretty soon, but at that point it's a mass slaughter, so I just cut it out at that point. They all rout, I slaughter them. There's really nothing much to mention there. If you don't believe me, that's fine, but yeah, that's actually how it happened. But I also learned that all those forces came from, what's it called, Lombardium or whatever it's called? They actually came from there. So that city is completely undefended and has absolutely no units. So I could just walk in there and take the settlement. I've never had that happen before. Very interesting for the AI to do that. But anyways, I jump into another battle. This battle I'm really unprepared for. I go in and hit the rebel units, but it's weird. I think this is some sort of glitch in the newer Total War revamp here. But holy fuck, like I didn't even have a choice for deployment. I didn't have a choice for this. My units were in a straight line. It was fucking weird. And it only happens for rebel battles. And it was just very strange. And yeah, that's really all I have to really say about that one. But because the rebels were low morale, low unit strength, I'm able to easily fucking counteract them and wipe them off the face of the earth. I do have a bit of trouble. One of my generals gets caught up with the other one, and I'm kind of outnumbered, but I end up kind of facing them anyways, thinking I could beat him, and I do. I kill their general, he routes, all the other units route, the main infantry routes, and boom, I win that fight, no problem. They were kind of just in the way, so that's why I wanted to deal with them quick and snazzy-like. Besides that, it's basically just a big rundown of the units and such. So yeah, first 4 minutes, and we have already one massive fight and a mini fight. So generally the Gauls are trying to put up, I guess they're trying to put up more of a fight, but at the same time they're trying to just stall me from going further into Gaul. I think is kind of interesting. Hire some mercs. I build a fort there because the Britons, or the Bretons, however you want to phrase them, they like to actually attack. They like to attack me during this time when I'm invading Gaul halfway through Gaul, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. So I just put a fort there to protect me. Besides that, I get ambushed by this huge fucking army out of nowhere. This full stack army with I think 1,400 men. So I'm in trouble there. So I basically back out of that situation and I head closer to the settlement I'm about to take. But then there's another army with about 444 that decides to attack me. This one, if I play it defensively, I know I could win it fairly easy. I think they do have a bit of reinforcements, but besides that, they have the forest on their side, that's for sure. I have to play a more or less defensive battle. I wait, so I kind of skip ahead a bit. I wait for them to come to me, and I send my cavalry to the side to charge in through the back. They have reinforcements, I can confirm that. And I basically surround their infantry. They don't really put up much of a fight. They collide with my first lines there to the left, but besides that, they don't really have a strategy in mind. I go to cut them off with my general units. One unit already routes. I send my my units down to the right there to flank. They're already breaking. Yeah, like I said, not really much strategy here. Just they decided they wanted to fight with they were outnumbered and outmanned. So I mean, like, I don't understand why they tried that. Besides that, my cavalry go to cut down the remainder units, and my infantry go to face the remaining soldiers left. Quite an easy fight in general. I just finish it off with my general and a few unit support. I think my general almost dies here, so that was nasty. I think I didn't expect them to charge in with their general, that's for sure, but I send my general back in because I noticed that my other units are on the other side. I surround them. I have not one, not two, but I think at this point 3 units rout. Yeah, at that point it becomes a mass rout. I've won this fight, and there's really nothing much to say here besides just a pathetic attempt from the Gauls to stall me again. But besides that, I got a big army to worry about. That 1,400 unit army. Good thing I didn't really use, deteriorate the army up north. Deteriorate, I think that's the right word for it. Good thing that one's basically intact, so I can easily fucking fight off the Gauls there. Also, in Italy, I'm also recruiting just Principe as the new unit and quite a few other troops and sending them over to Gaul, just so I could have a constant supply of soldiers, because when playing this game you need, it's quite a micromanager. You gotta recruit your own units, you gotta build your own structures. You could put on auto manage, but it's absolute garbage and shit, and I mean, like, why would you do that? It just doesn't make sense. Besides that, I get kind of a disadvantage here. I have a forest, but it's not a thickish forest like I had last time. It's more or less a spread out tree forest, and my initial thought was, well, okay, I got my bigger army up north, I send them down to ambush them, and I use my smaller army that more or less has more movement points to lead the attack. Now I turn AI controlled off, because if that was the case, these guys would be controlled by the AI, and they absolutely are. They're horrible. They're absolutely the worst. They send the general in, the general gets killed. It's absolutely awful. So I decided not to do that. Besides that, my infantry clashes with theirs, and they actually do a bit of an interesting technique. They split up their units. One to head up north to slow down, I think, that incoming army, while they try to finish off my southern army there and hopefully regroup. I thought this was very interesting and didn't think the AI would do this, and instead focused to crush the southern army as fast as possible. And I have my mercenaries, my 2 mercenary units do rout, and that does worry me because it could cause a mass rout and I could lose that southern army there very fast. So I decided to finish this up very fast on the northern front and gain up using my cavalry and such. But my units hold on pretty desperately. I mean, Hastati are not to be underestimated, that's for sure. And even though I'm outnumbered, I still got cavalry and I still got my generals alive. They actually mass rout in the north there, meaning I could easily catch up to the southern army. They have a bit of cavalry left, so I'd counter that with my generals. And yeah, the northern army is basically fucked. Now, it's basically just a race to get to the southern army. The only thing I'm worried about at this point is if they crush the army down south, that's a bunch of units lost. It turns, like I said, into a mass rout. I send my cavalry pick off the stragglers. Yeah, the stragglers there. Mass rout, victory achieved. Not that hard of a fight, kind of worried a little there, but it was nothing. It was a nothing fight, basically. I knew I was going to win it with the manpower and the quality of units. It's always a quality versus quantity type of situation I have here, so yeah. Besides that, it's a bit of micromanagement. I have trouble with my faction, factionaire there, because I can't put him up front. I don't know this game that well, though I have been playing on the mobile for like 2 years now, or 2 years, maybe about a year and a half. I don't know if it's even been out for 2 years, but yeah, no, I was having trouble. I still don't know all the things to the game, so I'm not new, but I'm just not a high tier veteran, I guess you could say. Though I've learned quite a bit throughout my experience. Besides, I get this weird message I kind of hang over. It's they want me to leave that region because the Germans control it, but I'm not even in that region. This also happens once in Blue Moon, where the Senate kind of bugs out and wants you to leave a region you're not even in. So I ignore it. I know I'm not in the region, so I shouldn't get in trouble anyways. I send my spy. I try to send my spy in the settlement. I have a bit of trouble before besieging, seeing if I could easily take it. I don't, so I just build battering rams. I combine my 2 armies to attack this one. And then I send, this is very important actually because this comes in the later episode, I send one of my generals onto the ship and with quite a few units actually. Like I said, I've been building up throughout the turns, right? So I sent him off to help in the Gallic campaign, and he'll definitely help drive the Gauls out. So as I send my diplomat a bit farther, I know some armies. I basically use them as a spy. I don't really care for the democracy. No, diplomacy. There we go. That's the word. There's too many D's in politics. It's fucking, I don't know. It's a big D time. Anyways, they end up backing off. I think they either go to reinforce that town up north or they come down south and hide in the woods there. I'm not too sure. I think Parthia is at war with the Seleucid Empire at this point. I don't think I've ever mentioned much of the other factions in this game. Yeah, the Seleucid Empire gets beat on quite a bit. Besides that, my footage cuts out again. But I do have 40 extra seconds of the video. But it's nothing. I basically take the settlement, I get a clear victory, I enslave it, and yeah, that's really all to tell for this episode. One last thing to mention, I actually got my new computer, so I will soon be doing computer-like videos, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Also, yeah, I gotta basically catch up on all my series, so I will probably try to post as frequently as possible. I am working, like I mentioned, but yeah, I finally got my Asus computer. I'm really happy. I can't wait to do that type of content. I just gotta finish up all the mobile shit first, like this series and the Barbarian Invasion series. So yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Subscribe, like, do all that shit YouTubers tell you to do, and I'll catch you all later.